I don't want anybody to be alarmed, okay? Don't call anybody. Nissan, it's only taken them 40 years. This is the most interesting Micra they've ever made. Now, even your granny, and possibly my granny, although she's been dead for 25 years, knows that this is based on the Renault 5. But have Nissan just snuck in at night time and cogged their homework? Or is this actually a bit of a Micra in its own right? Welcome to Nobby on Cars in Rotterdam. It has winky eyes on the front, not wonky eyes, winky eyes. It sits on the same Imperial platform as the Renault 5. We've got black mirrors, two-tone roof. When do you ever remember a Nissan Micra having a two-tone roof? But it does. The side skirts, and it's even got a gelato scoop all the way down the side of the vehicle. The rear of the Micra doesn't scream Renault 5 at me, if I'm being honest. There is obviously this thing, but it's nothing like a Renault 5. There's this Nissan bar, it's not really like a Renault 5. The circular lights, again, nothing like it. Micra, or are you a Micra kind of person? And there is a wiper. Now the boot, granted, it's not the biggest boot in the world, 326 litres. You'll get a bag, you'll get a couple of umbrellas, a triangle kit, your Type 2 charging cable, because there's no frunk in this car. It'll do the week shopping. It'll possibly take a suitcase for Australia, depending on whether you live in New Zealand or Ireland. It's all right. Question for those of you paying attention at home, however. Do you remember how tight the back of the Renault 5 was for knee and leg room and foot room? It was tight. I wonder have Nissan just somehow managed to squeeze a couple of millimeters out of this space. It doesn't feel as cramped. Now don't get me wrong, in order to tuck your feet underneath the seats, you're going to have your legs lifted off the bench, which feels a bit unnatural. There's no armrest, there's no air vent, and there's no USB-C charging ports back here. So if you have kids, they will wreck your head. However, someone clearly snuck out at night time from the Renault factory with the patterned quilted roof headlining under their arms and said, we'll have that. And it looks very, very cool. And in this car, there's no real reason for it. In the Renault 5, it's obviously a nod back to the original car. In here, it's just like, oh, kind of different, like it. Another reason why this is possibly one of the best, most interesting Micras they've ever made. It has Google Maps built in. So you can type in your destination, and just like your phone, it gives you the red traffic lines, it tells you how long it's going to get there, it suggests better routes, it tells you when some idiot is broken down in front of you on the way, it even tells you what state of charge you'll have at your destination, and if you wanted to get back from where you're setting off from. And that's brilliant. There's physical buttons for all the bits. In fact, you know, you could argue Nissan have been lazy. They've literally just put a Nissan badge on the steering wheel. End of list. Everything else really is very, very similar. In fact, the Renault might be a little bit classier with some of the high gloss that works. You still get bolstered seats in a Nissan Micra. Where have you seen that before? Adaptive cruise control is brilliant. You've got the safety settings, so you can tailor what you do want to beep at you and what you don't want to beep at you, and you can turn that off. There's space for drinks holders. There's an armrest. No, it doesn't slide. Come on. It is kind of cool. Sorry if you're going to be here to give out about a Nissan Micra. You can't anymore. Charging the new Nissan Micra is a bit of a doddle because they've put the charging port at the front, which might make life easier at public chargers. 52 kilowatt hour, 40 kilowatt hour. They're the battery sizes, 300 or 400 kilometers. The larger battery will do a fast charging speed of up to 100 kilowatt DC. You're probably expecting me to say it drives just like a Renault 5. For the most part, yes. But I do feel Renault have saved some of the magic handling for the Renault 5. It just feels a little bit lighter on its toes. I'm not quite sure what it is. This thing will shoot wide if you hammer it into a corner, much like a Renault 5 will do. Front wheel drive cars will do that. There's the noise over the A-pillars at motorway speeds. I've been doing up to 130 today in the Rotterdam motorway, so getting a good sense of how much A-pillar noise there is. Again, that is present on the Renault 5, so no significant changes there. Radar cruise works a charm. You just pop it on. The lane keep assist, it's firm, but if you want the car to do the heavy lifting for you, it does that in a kind of non-intrusive way. It will still let you cross something, you know, for whatever reason you want to cross something, but it was gently guiding the car through corners, so that was a relaxing, very relaxing actually experience. The Google Maps obviously makes life easier for you. There is a one pedal driving solution, so you have 1, 2, 3 clicks of the pedals. Why am I talking about the count from Sesame Street? And that will bring the car to a halt. And actually with the nav and everything on, that will do a lot of the braking for you. That beep is just the same with the speed limit is changing. You can turn the actual speed limit annoying things off, but that can stay on, which is helpful if you've entered a new zone. It's just a little reminder to say that there might be a flash for cash up above. It's very easy to drive though, like it's just simple, it's nimble, keeps up with traffic, it's got loads of acceleration. It does pitch up on the nose when you hammer the throttle, bit of body roll in it, like it's spongy, but it's firm. It's kind of I do think the Renault 5 has something else in the handling stakes. You also get your Google Nav screen in front of the driver also, so there's no real reason to take your eyes off the road. These seats are comfortable, however, the plastic thing around what would be the transmission tunnel, that's hurting my knee. I know I might sound a bit precious saying that, but it's true. And if, for example, you're driving this car all day long, that would probably annoy you too. It's just a bit hard. You could put something spongy on it. I don't know, it's all right. Armrest here is comfortable for the driver. Same with that one. You just settle in and get on with it, to be honest with you. But it's got either 120 or 150 brake horsepower. I don't know if Micra's ever had 150 brake horsepower, but in a car that doesn't exactly weigh a huge amount, this is not a car for going to mass in anymore. This is fun. It has pace. It can keep up with traffic. It can overtake things on motorways. Previous Micras might have done those things, but just with a bit of hesitancy. I'm now at 78% with 250 kilometers range left. So is this a 400 kilometer car? Maybe on a very, 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 very good day, yeah. I think 320 to 400, expect that, you'll be happy. And chuck it into these crazy Rotterdam roundabouts. Woohoo, the traction just started to kick in. Have you ever felt the traction doing its thing in a Micra? Is it as good as the Renault 5 as an overall package? It maybe doesn't feel as wow. Is it a lot better than every other Micra we've seen before? You can bet your granny who used to go to mass once a week and one who's probably dead now, yes it is. Why would anybody buy a Micra over the new Renault 5? Well, if you ask ChatGPT, there's a couple of reasons. One, you might want to slip under the radar. I know this is blue, but it's not yellow or green like the Renault 5, which leans into retro stuff. This is a little bit more conservative maybe for your typical Micra customer. Maybe Nissan don't want to alienate all those people for the last 40 years. And they haven't announced the prices yet, but if Nissan play their cards right, they could undercut Renault and make this slightly more affordable. And there's 2.5-ish reasons why you might want to consider one instead of the brilliant Renault 5. As always, let me know your thoughts, your comments, your suggestions, your hate mail down below. It's what it's there for, isn't it? And from Rotterdam, goodbye.